to the Tuesday night Principal Chiro broadcast with DE and Band of Brothers. I'm Dr. Brian Moriarty, your esteemed MC for tonight's exciting call with Dr. Ryan Dops. And I'm joined by my co-MCs, Patrick.
And Emma.
Wow. If only I could have trained you to be that good. But you actually do that on your own. It must be the Moriarty genes. But yes, we're joined by Emma. Welcome, guys. Thanks for staying up late to help me introduce Ryan. Anyway, guys, today was a very exciting day. And we got a great call for you in just a little bit. And we're going to talk about DE as well. So we got DE coming up in Clearwater in April. Let's get those dates up there. There's the Spring DE back at the same place. Everybody seems to love that hotel. It really resonated with people. I mean, what's not to love? Awesome hotel right on the Gulf of Mexico. Can't beat it. But we'll be back there. Spring DE. The dates are somewhere in there. April something, 14th, 17th, something like that. Somewhere in the middle of the month. Sheridan Sand Key Beach Resort. We will be back there. Better than ever. Oh, there it is. April 18th to the 21st. Gosh, I need to work on my vision. Go to lifede.com to register. We've also got some upcoming dates to tell you guys about. We are back in July in Atlanta, also in the 18th to the 21st. Followed by the October DE 24th to the 27th in Atlanta before heading back to Clearwater January 9th through the 12th. That October 24th to the 27th is our 60th anniversary of DE. Please join us for a memorable DE meeting as we mark 60 years of Dynamic Essentials. I was at the 50th one. So that was pretty awesome. So I know that the 60th one is going to be even better. So again, lifede.com to check it out and get registered. Sorry, I'm being swarmed by kids. Apparently my love of children. Can I get in here somewhere?
I can't see.
Where are you going? Get back here, Rick, whatever your name is. Patrick. What is going on this call here? Oh, look at someone wrote Emma. Anyway, today was a very exciting day. Actually, yesterday was even more exciting. As you guys have been following me, know that I officially filed for school board candidate here in Martin County. So Martin County, look out. One of your chiropractor DE friends is actually running for public office. So the adventure continues, but I want to thank everyone at DE for their love and support and prayers because it's not an easy thing stepping out like this. Honestly, these last couple of days, I've had such a swell of support and calls and texts and people. And I've also had some people taking some shots, reporters, things like that, reaching out. It's kind of weird when you put yourself out there, to run for public office. It's honestly like pulling your pants down and walking around like that. But I'm up for the challenge, and I'm excited to hopefully get elected to help our kids like Emma have a better future and education here in Martin County, Florida. So thank you all for your love and support. And speaking of love and support, man, we got a powerhouse speaker for tonight's Tuesday night call. Obviously the Dobbs family has gone through its share of challenges, but I tell you, these guys just serve with a smile, and it's so great to always see Ryan and his incredible, strong wife, Denise, and how they handle adversity, and their amazing children. I mean, this guy is just a rock of support for his family. And Ryan came into DE the exact same DE as I did 10 years ago. We just celebrated 10 years at this last DE. And, man, I look up to Ryan. He's such an inspiration to us all. And I'm very excited to hear his message. So anyway, hailing all the way from Kansas, let's give it up for our speaker tonight on the Tuesday night DE Principal Chiro broadcast, Dr. Ryan Dobbs. Take it away, Ryan. We love and appreciate you. Hey, what's happening?
I was hoping for an Emma introduction, right, with Ryan, but it didn't happen, so that's okay. Yours was good, Brian. Thanks for doing that. Um, Man, it's good to be on tonight, and it was even better to be back at DE a couple weeks ago. I'm still processing and still trying to figure out what in the heck happened there, because it was powerful and it shook me um, to a level that I didn't expect to be brought to. There's a lot of great momentum that came out of that. Um, in fact, one of the messages that I got out of the whole meeting was just to simplify, go back to the basics. I feel like that's always a pretty consistent meme, but I had some great conversations with people, in the hallways, late night, and really just kind of cut to the core of some issues that I've been having in my own life. And I think that's what is so powerful about these weekends is, yeah, the speakers in the room are phenomenal, and I got so much from them. But equally, it's the intentional conversations afterwards. And so, those of you guys who spent time with me over the weekend, I appreciate it. And you guys, each and every one of you was, man, so impactful. So, one of the messages, like I said, was simplify. And as I got back on Monday at lunchtime, my office manager of 9 years turned in her 2-week resignation. And so there's not a whole lot more simple than that. Dr. Mason Howell was with us, and he departed at the beginning of the year, and our other CA left at the beginning of November to go to Kansas City to start school at Cleveland. So simplify is definitely the way that it's going right now, whether I liked it or not. But the powerful message of DE really grounded me into being okay with it. As she turned in her letter, the reaction should be right, freak out and go into panic mode, but it wasn't. It was like, okay, cool, we'll roll with it, and we're going to just move forward and figure this next phase out. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys tonight about. Was I want to talk about maintaining a positive mindset, right? Adversities are going to come, storms are going to come in your life, but your positive mindset and the way you approach it is paramount to all of it. It's so key. I always tell my kids, like, you can't change what happens to you. You only get to change how you react to it, right? And so, the reaction of, your office manager after 9 years of turning it in, the reaction could have been freak out and stress, but it's like, no, we're good. God's got this, and I'm just going to trust this process. Oddly enough, there was the verse of the day I do the Bible app every morning and try to start my day with that. And actually, tomorrow is day 200 on my streak, which, I think that's kind of cool. It's fun to have those little things, but it's a good milestone tomorrow. But anyway, the verse of the day, the Monday after DE, was one that Dr. Schiffman always used to say to me, that the fields are white with the harvest, but the laborers are few. And I've always loved that, because and I've shared that from the DE stage before, that it tells me that there's more people out there that need to be served. There just needs to be workers that go out and do it. Out of all the times I've said it and heard it, I guess I've either never looked up the verse completely, or I've never read the second part of it. But it goes something like this, where it says, "A wise man prays to God because he knows the field is his and knows that God will send workers to it." I read that Monday morning and then went into the office. And when she turned in her letter, it was nothing but peace, right? It was just like, cool. All right, God's got this. He's going to do it. And it was just such a strong echo after coming off a powerful weekend of getting focused and getting centered. I know, like a lot of you guys, my chiropractic walk parallels my faith walk. The two aren't separate. They're the same. And, it made that verse even more powerful. And so I go back to the friend within, and I think about the things that Dr. Sid dropped on us in those recordings. And it is really understanding who you are on the inside and what your innate does, and how it provides for you and gives you peace in these moments. And I'm fine with using the Holy Spirit. I'm fine with using different terms, but it's innate, right? And Paula, you said innate provides, and 100% innate provides. That's exactly what it was. So how do we stay focused in the storm? That's the big thing. I think the first thing that we have to do is we have to understand our tools. And to me, some of the tools that I've been using after DE is I've been on the 49 breaths every morning, and I just get on there and I listen and trying to get a routine back established of affirmations, of positive mindset. And man, the people on it's 6 a.m. for me, but the people on the 6 a.m. call are just dynamite. And you guys know who you are. And I really appreciate Andy for running that. And, I hadn't been on in a while. And it's funny when you walk back into the room at DE, or you get back on the calls, or you get back on this, tonight, it's like that old patient that comes back in, and you walk into the room and there they are. And it's almost like the conversation from a year and a half ago picks right back up like it never stopped. It's reuniting with something that that has helped you in the past, and it feels familiar, and so it's easy. So getting back on the 49 breath call is good, because it combines a lot of things. It combines breath work, which puts your body into parasympathetic mode, which is really where you get creative. It's really where you get connected. You don't really do that good in fight or flight. So I'm enjoying getting up early, like at 5, and spending some time in meditation. That's another one of my tools, meditation and prayer. And I use meditation to listen, and I use prayer to talk. And that's kind of how it goes. So, sitting in the silence and just meditating, I feel like there's just connection there. Peter had talked about sitting in the silence until you feel the Holy Spirit come over you. And then that's when you start to pray. And so I've been practicing that. And a couple times, I think everybody experiences the Holy Spirit a little bit different. To me, I get some chills and some goosebumps, and it just comes over me. And what's funny is I kind of freaked out, to be honest with you. I was like, okay, what did Peter say to do now? And I almost lost the moment just because I was so wrapped up in actually, like, I guess maybe getting myself to that state. But anyway, that's beside the point. So prayer and meditation, we have visualization, which is another part of the 49 breaths. So there's so many of them that get wrapped into the breath work that I think is really important. It's parasympathetic. Like I said, that's where we get creative. That's where we get connection. That's where our love flows through, is through that side of our autonomics. And I think there's a lot of power in sitting in that space, right? Sitting in the state of relaxation and rest, rather than sitting in stress. Something else I think is really important. When I pray, I think that discernment is something that's helped us a lot. When King Solomon took over in the Old Testament, he had the opportunity to pray to God, and where he could have prayed for riches and power and dominating army or all of these things, all he prayed for was discernment. And the Bible talks about that being kind of a turning point in his reign, that at that point he became, he fell into favor with God and was blessed because of it. I think discernment has been probably the strongest thing that I've tapped into or tried to pray for, I guess, in myself, in my own life over these last 4 years, walking this road with Denise. It's tough. Like I said, storms are going to come. Turbulence is going to hit, when we're cruising and high altitude and moving down the road, turbulence is going to hit and it's going to rattle us. And so who you are on the inside is really what comes out in those moments. Because if you don't do the work, it's really easy to get rattled. And I'm not claiming to have it all down. We've gone through a lot of trying times, and I know it's just the consequence of living that we're going to go through more. I said it from the stage. I feel like I've said it every time I've talked in the last 4 years, but the support and the family that we have through DE has just been incredible. I'm never going to stop having gratitude for what you all have done for us and with us, because it's not just a donation and then no follow through. People reach out all the time, and I really appreciate the support and the love. And so, again, I think I've said something about that every time, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But for those of you that have been with us, partnered with us in this walk, I appreciate it. Denise is heading back down to Mexico on Wednesday. Our youngest turns 9 on Monday. And so for those of you that may remember, may not, 9 years ago, DE was this coming weekend, and it was kind of a pinch if I was going to make it or not. I made it to the meeting, and I had my phone on, on the ringer turned on, and I was waiting for that call because I was going to hop on an early flight if I needed to, so it is fun. Like Brian mentioned, 10 years at DE, and the connections that we've made, that Denise and I have made there, have just been so strong and so powerful. So, a tool for a positive mindset is family, and that's what you guys are to me. So there's a lot of this that goes, like, I think everything I've mentioned so far is all internal things: prayer, meditation, discernment, fasting. All of these things keep us strong when life gets tough. We practice some, let's say, not pleasurable activities like the sauna. I'm not quite bold enough to do a cold plunge yet. My wife's done it a handful of times, and it's really helped her, but I'd rather take the heat than get in the cold water. But the sauna is it's a meditation to me, because it teaches me how to sit in the pain, right, and experience life when it kind of sucks. My son was in there with me one day, and we're sitting there at 190 degrees, and he was sweating, and he was kind of groaning a little bit. And I go, you want to get out, man? And he's like, no, it's just fake pain. And I go, what are you talking about? And he goes, it's fake pain. And I go, explain that to me. This is a few years ago, so he's probably 11, 12 years old. And he goes, I know that as soon as I walk out that door, the pain's going to be gone and I'm going to feel fine. So it's fake. And I was like, wow. And he goes, yeah, I do that when I run too. Running is fake pain. As soon as I stop running, the pain goes away in my legs, so I know I can push through it. And I thought, man, that's a really powerful mindset right there. That when we can identify that things are fake pains, right? Not real pains, but when we can identify that it's a fake pain, we know that stopping, sure, would make us feel better, but also continuing probably isn't going to hurt us the way that it feels right now, and that goes not just for for saunas and cold dips and running, but that goes for arguments with your spouse. That goes with problems with the office. That goes to all kinds of things, right? I mean, if not to say that some of those things are trivial, but at the same time, we get the opportunity to step back, and through a practice, and I just use the sauna as something that I think is great, but through a practice of sitting in a moment where it's not comfortable, it's not fun, it feels like my body is just being whipped. Running's the same type of thing. That practice of sitting in the suck, it causes you to grow. That's a big one, I think, when we talk about like weathering storms, as experience. And I don't pray for hard times for anybody. I don't wish hard times on anybody. But as we walk through hard times, we learn and we grow, and we become more seasoned in the hard moments. So it kind of makes the next one a little bit easier to do. We've all experienced that with somebody in the office. A practice member comes in and they've got, the bulged disc, and it's running down the leg, and all the symptoms are there, right? That first one, we all probably, wanted to like freak out and run out of the room, but after you do it for, almost 18 years now, you don't get rattled by it, right? You know that, man, I've weathered this storm. We've done this before. I'm now a seasoned pro at this, and I can help you. And it's so powerful how DE teaches these mantras, right? These sayings, these things that Sid knew that we would need in the field, because that's what builds our character. That's what builds our experience. And through our experience, we have trust with our practice members. And through the trust, they follow through with their care plans. And with them following through with their care plans, that builds more experience and gains more confidence in who I am as a principal chiropractor, is that we can say, man, we're not going to turn to, turn to drugs. We're not going to turn to surgery. We're going to do this, and we've done it before, and we can do it again. I think that, again, in my journey with Denise's walk, our walk together through all of this, one thing that's became really obvious to me when we were down in Mexico over the summer was the influence that we can have in our life through spiritual forces, right? We can let things into our world, and man, they can really mess us up, and I think calling out, I don't know why this feels uncomfortable to talk about right now, but I think calling out evil forces in our life is so important. Recognizing that, man, this isn't your character. This isn't who you are, Ryan. You need to get this stuff out of you. And, praying and meditating and all those things, it allows me to reconnect with myself and honestly get Jesus back in my heart. And those things can't exist when he's there, right? So if you're struggling with something, man, get Jesus in the center of your life, and it makes a huge difference. It says in the Bible that those things can't exist in the name of Jesus. So I think that's a really important thing that's helped me through these last 4 years, specifically in the last year as we've been walking down this road. We're taught a lot of things, that our thoughts become our actions. Again, these mantras and these sayings. And I think it's very powerful that if we're sitting in fear, we're sitting in frustrations, we're sitting in a storm, that we're not seeing things as they are. We're seeing them as they ought to be, right? They're seeing them as they should be. And no matter if the waves are crashing in around you or whatever's going on, we need to make sure that we're focused on what we want and not where we're at the time. Fear, doubt, greed, envy, all of those things that creep into our life, they become the dominating thought in our head. And when we do that, what we think about is what we bring about. And it's easy to turn to the fear. It's easy to turn to the dark, because it doesn't take any effort, right? You can go there and you don't have to try to go there, right? The world's going to take you there no matter what. The seasons in life are going to take you there, but it's our mindset and our resolve that says, no, we're not doing this, right? We're going to be better than this. And that's where the morning practice of the breaths, that's where the morning practice of prayer is. It recenters me and lets me shake all that junk from the day before. And sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes it's 3 days, but I'm working on myself to be better. And I know that it's the continued practice of keeping it there. So just like positive affirmations, we've got to guard our hearts, we've got to guard our minds, and not let that junk creep in, because once it gets a stronghold there, then it tries to fortify. And sometimes it's hard to get those things out. We've all had practice members where, you just want to shake them and be like, dude, quit your stinking thinking, man, like change this and be better, I'm going to jump into the Kat. I don't know if I can jump. Here we go. Yeah, this is in the front of the red book. Kat sent it to me because I forgot mine at the office. It's a quote from Dr. Sid, right? It says, "A man without purpose is like a satellite lost in space, moving aimlessly along an uncharted course in an unknown direction with the power or without the power to alter that course. All of the knowledge, principle, and practice in your efforts are wasted until you practice with purpose." And I feel like that is, man, that's spot on. If we aren't doing these practices, if we aren't using our tools to weather the storm, then we end up being like that satellite, and we don't have a direction, we don't have any propulsion. And so what happens is life ends up happening to us rather than for us. And I think that keeping a solid focus on where we're going, keeping a direction going by praying for discernment and looking for the right answers in the midst of the problem in order to navigate yourself out. I think that's such a powerful affirmation that Sid taught us there, and put that at the front of the book. I was texting Tim Zook the other day, and him and I had such a great conversation, and Tim is such a blessing in my life, and I know a lot of people's lives. And Tim, if you're watching, buddy, I really appreciate you. And we were bouncing things back and forth, and one of us dropped Isaiah 41:10 that says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not be discouraged, for I am God. I will strengthen you, and I will help you, and I will hold you up with my victorious right hand." Strengthen and help are two different things. Strengthen is empowerment, right? Help is there when we need it. It's good to be strong, but it's also good to ask for help, you know? And then like Moses, when he was holding up his arms to hold the sea open, he literally had to have people come and stand by him and hold his arms up so that he could keep that sea parted, so all the Israelites can pass through. And I think with that saying that I'll hold you up with my victorious right hand, I mean, it's saying, man, you're not going to have the strength to do this. When Denise first started this journey, a lot of people kind of threw that saying around, and maybe I said it too. I'm sure I did, but it's that saying that, well, God wouldn't give us anything that we can't handle. And I don't believe that's true at all. I think God didn't give this to us. This is a trap from the enemy to get us off our plan and to make us lose our focus and to shake our faith. That's my opinion. And holding us up is super important, super important. He can strengthen us and he can give us help, but it also means like when you collapse, he's there to hold us up. And I think that verse is so powerful. It's Isaiah 41:10. Which really just leads to kind of my final thought on this is just letting go and letting God. I think that there's choices that we get to make through discernment and through revelation. Things are dropped on us, but ultimately I know that all of this life is in God's control. It's in God's hand. And, while he does not create these things in our life, the enemy does, he will use them for good, and I think that's a really powerful point to make is let go and let God. We've got to, surrender control. It doesn't mean we get to fall asleep at the wheel though, right? You still have to drive the car, but it's knowing that God's directing our path. And that's what it says, is that we make our plans and God directs our steps. I guess, with wrapping all of this up, I just really have a lot of gratitude for DE. It's been a really powerful 10 years. I literally can't imagine my chiropractic life, my family life, my spiritual life. I can't imagine them without the centerpiece that DE has provided for me, and a framework that all of those things can just mingle together as one, and it doesn't have to feel like three segmented things. So to each and every one of you guys that have been on here tonight, that have poured into Denise and I over the last 10 years, man, I love and appreciate you. And that is not a cliche DE thing. That is from my heart. And I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for letting me share. I hope this helped, and God bless.
Let's try it again.
I
Ryan.
got sound. Yeah, there, buddy.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Sorry. I said thank you so much. That was an awesome talk, but apparently I was muted. Listen, one of the things I was noticing while you were wrapping up there is I feel like your faith has definitely grown stronger. Like I see a much better version of yourself, stronger in faith, more spiritual, more connected. So, especially in these last couple of years, man, it's really a pleasure to see your spiritual growth. And I know it's going to set you up for great things in the future.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And, great talk tonight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Ryan always sharing from their heart. We're going to be praying, obviously, for Denise as she treks back down to Mexico. And, hopefully all goes well there. But we'll keep her in our prayers. All of DE will be praying for Denise and the Dobbs family. And thank you so much, brother, for sharing tonight. We love and appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next Tuesday night on the Principled Chiro broadcast.